Foster say some other dumb shit, I'm gonna go even harder in the paint. You know, I did do a 30-day long roast on both Cynthia G and Feminista Jones, and you know, I definitely can do a 30-day long roast for Kimberly Nicole Foster too. So,
wow,
she knows what I know. She stay quiet.
All right, real quick, I kind of want to double back to the conclave. How did you come up with the conclave?
That came about. It got its start on Kevin's Facebook group, The Mix. Theo Waff and some other brothers, along with me, were members there, and the idea was that he wanted to do something to train brothers in IT and STEM, but he really didn't know how to go about doing it, and so. There's this brother named Lil Big Nate. He wasn't a member of Kevin's mix group. He was, you know, on Bernard Riley's show. And he came up with some really good ideas, and him and Theo kind of worked together. So he was going to bring in the more quasi-political end of it. And Theo was going to bring the STEM IT end of it. And he had some really good ideas, but there were some other things that I don't want to go into here that wasn't so good. So we ended up kind of parting ways, but we retained some of the good ideas that Lil Big Nate had, and we kept that with the ideas from brothers from the mix, and that's how the Black Manosphere Conclave came to be that we know it today. So,
okay. And when's the next Black Man Conclave? When and where? 6th
through the 8th in Houston, Texas. And you can still get your early bird tickets. Prices will go up substantially July the 1st. So you better hurry and get it now. www.black-manosphere.org.
Yep. And the information is on my community tab page. It's on the community tab page. So if you can't write it down right now, you can go to my community tab page, and the conclave is there on my community tab page. Yeah. Now, okay, I got a couple of brothers up here. Are you brothers there? You guys can go ahead and unmute and unmic.
Y'all here, man? What's going on, guys?
Hey,
yeah, we here.
Okay, all right. Let's see. I'm gonna start with Kofa. You got any questions, comments, concerns or smoke for Obsidian?
Man, I ain't got no smoke for Obsidian other than my cigar. But he turned me down when I offered it to him at the conclave last year. What's going on, O?
Hey, what's going on, Kofa, man? Good to see you, man. Hope to see you at the conclave in Houston.
Yes, sir. It's a working process. I'm trying to get there. But I had a quick question. So I know you're Muslim. I just took my Shahada. Have you seen what we're seeing in quote unquote modern day society as far as black dating spilling over to the mosque? I
haven't. The brothers at the mosque are still kind of holding the line, from what I can tell. But I'm no authority on that. But that's my sense, that they're kind of holding the line on that. You know, us Muslim brothers. I mean, I'm very lenient. But you know, Kofa and the other brothers that know a lot of brothers that are serious about the deen. They could be some pretty strict doctrinaire brothers. So
yeah, definitely.
They're not going for a lot of this stuff that passes in polite society. They're not going for it. They'll tell the ladies, look, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, period.
And the reason why I was asking is some of the mosques I've attended, or even some of the sisters I've talked to that recently converted, they still fall into the baby mama category.
Right.
Multiple kids from multiple men, then, they found Allah, on and on. So have you heard anything from the brothers as far as dating single moms? I'm asking because I want to see the landscape for what it is in full, and not just the ratchetness that we see online. Because we can see a sister with her job, but if she carries those same traits, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything so far, but again, don't quote me on that. But so far, I haven't heard anything. The brothers seem to be holding the line so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pass it.
Obsidian, do you think they're holding the line because of the discipline that they're up under?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of Muslim brothers are very, they can be pretty intense. So, I mean, the ladies got to get on program or they won't be replaced.
You know what else I noticed? Oh, even more so than the men, the older sisters has been around a while. That's what I've noticed. They're not going to allow any type of foolishness from, I guess modern dating, modern women as we.
Yeah, in Islam, older women, and this probably is because of Khadija, peace be upon her. It's probably because of her. But in Islamic society, elder ladies, if you will, more mature ladies, do have a kind of a degree of sway, especially when it comes to women and other younger women. They do tend to have a kind of sway that you don't see as much in other societies. So that might have something to do with it. Yeah.
All right, VBN, unmute yourself. Any questions, comments, or smoke for the good brother Obsidian?
No, I'm just glad to be talking to the brother again. And I just said on my podcast the other day, the old man is always good for giving us these phrases. So a lot of people might have missed what he said earlier. Non-versation. I love it. But that's one of his gifts. He's always been, blessed, I guess. He says them all the time, but, I don't even think he knows he says them, but he says them all the time. But I'm glad he's still doing his thing. Shout out to Miss Brown Sugar. I hope her voice is still around.
Yeah, she's doing well, man. She's doing well.
I'm always that guy that always called into your show, and I remember when she was thinking about quitting one time, and I called in and I said, no, we need your voice, baby.
Yeah,
and you said, yeah, man, we appreciate that. She needed to hear that, so I'm that guy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely miss her voice. Miss you being on YouTube as well. But we're gonna have to start transitioning and finding other revenue streams. I guess that's what we're gonna call it. We can't just be dependent on because they can box us out. So
yeah, I'm
glad you doing what you're doing.
Every brother should get a rumble, man. Yeah, every brother should get a rumble. That's where.
Yeah, I got one. I just haven't really. I was listening to what you said. You wish you had went over there sooner. My channel is very small. My channel is very small, so I don't really branch out very much right now. Like you, I had to retire early because of health reasons. So, I kind of dibble and dabble here when I can, when I feel like it. TJ got on me the other night, man. I was 3 o'clock in the morning. I just went live. Man, ain't you supposed to be asleep? That's what he said to me. No. Somebody got to watch Gotham. That's me. So I was up.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we always appreciate you. And too often, I think we focus on what we don't like about people. We always focus on that one thing, or those two things that we disagree on. But what about the 8 or 7 or 8 things we agree on?
Yeah, exactly. How about that?
Why we can't build with that stuff?
Yeah.
I just said that to a young lady on my channel the other day. She had said something about, what do you think Angry Man and Obsidian and these guys, they should apologize. I said, apologize for what?
Yeah, I'm about to say, what did she say we need to apologize for?
Well, some of the things, I think it's caused problems with black women. And I said, I don't care how they take things. We didn't make this space for them. We made this space for us. And they come over here.
And the other thing is exactly what kind of problems did we cause?
For them, or the way they perceive it. I said, you're going to perceive what you want, how you want to perceive it. I said, but what about the good it's done? What about that?
Yeah.
What about when men weren't speaking for the last 50 years? You didn't have nothing to say. Now we got something to say, and it started, way before YouTube. I mean, I remember these conversations were small back then, but going back to GeoCities and Yahoo Towns. And I mean, that was before everybody had broadband back in the 90s. And you had to be like really on a college, university or a corporation to have that fast internet. But these conversations, men have been gathering together, saying them since the beginning of time. They just didn't know.
Yeah.
But now they want to control our speech, but they always get on us for trying to control them. But when it's okay when they want to control us, I find that ironic.
Of course. Yeah, good talking to you, man. I'm gonna take one more call. See my man, Kosher Conditioner, and I'm gonna take it down.
Yeah.
Hey, Kosher, you there?
Yeah, man, I'm there. Hey, what's up, brother?
What's going on, Kosher, man? Hope to see you in Houston, man.
Yeah. I gotta get a ticket from you or Shannon. I don't know.
Yeah. Get in touch with Shannon. He's got you covered.
All right, good, great.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you and I are both from Gen X, and there's been a lot of conversations about this. Why did the manosphere form? And I've always said prior to coming to YouTube, being a licensed therapist, working with young black men, I was a school teacher. I've done it all. I'm an adjacent to the manosphere. I support male talking points and male content. And so by default, I got caught up in, with black male talking points. But I've always been an advocate for men and boys. But one of the things I want to ask you, because I used to do a lot of studying with Dr. Jawan Kunjufu.
Oh yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah. But in actually some of my seminal work when I was in graduate school at UNC Chapel Hill, a lot of my papers was on black male efficacy. So, I tell people I've always been coaching. Before there was the manosphere, before there was YouTube, I've been doing this since I was 27. But to the point, two questions, and I'm going to make this thing fast. One, what happened, in your opinion, to black male resiliency? That's number one. And why don't the current generation, I know what it is, but I'm to your point, why doesn't the current generation have the same savviness of Gen X?
Man, that's a good question.
To answer the first question first, the last question first, what happened? Lack of dads. You got. We just talked about this earlier, me and TJ. You got grown ass black men, 24, 25, 26, 30, still living at home with mom. That's inconceivable to me. But these women have basically infantilized these men. They can't function. They can't clean up after themselves, cook for themselves, do anything for themselves. What woman is going to want them? What men is going to need them? I mean, they're not, they kind of really jacked up there. As far as the resilience piece, you don't really know who you are and what you got unless you've been tested.
Right,
and that's another reason why the whole exile piece, I kind of laugh at that respectfully, because if I am who I say I am, then no one setback is going to take me out. It's just that, a setback, and I keep right on getting up because I am who I say I am.
Right. I think the rites of passage has been dissolved or greatly dissipated. And, if you look at all tribal cultures, fathers said to take the boys away from the mothers because the mothers did things based on their feelings. And I'll say this before I let you go. What I see in clinical practice now, because, my practice is growing. I'm building my practice through teletherapy. And so, I got my own brand now. But I see a lot of over-identification. And in the clinical, we call it introjection. And because there are so many single-parent homes, boys tend to identify with female talking points to the point what it does, Obsidian, it arrests their development. And so when they see masculine men like you and I, we're from the old school, like we just talk. People say, well, wow, I can't believe they're talking about women like that. From Gen X, we've always talked like that. Hell, we got it from the barbershop. That's how we talk. We got our standards, what we want in the women. And it's shocking to me, that I guess people think I'm some kind of monster. How can he be a therapist and talk like that? I'm a man first. I always tell people I'm a man before I'm a therapist, and everything else supersedes itself. But I've never in my life seen such a soft generation of dudes, and I think part of it too is these microplastics in food. They said that men's testosterone levels are more lower in them than they ever been before in human time. What do you think about that, briefly?
Could very well be. I mean, I'm not a scientist like that, but it's very possible. I think the single biggest problem, and especially in Black America now, unfortunately, is going into other areas of essentially white America. But the single biggest problem is that we took the father out of the home. And that has made a lot of black men weak. I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth. It made a lot of black men weak.
I agree. I totally agree.
That's just the truth. And I know that's how I was raised. When I got to be 7 years old, I started working for my dad when I was 7. And what I would do as a little old, there's not a whole lot I could do at that age. So I basically just dragged around his tool bucket, and then I would sweep up. And then as I got older, I'd be assigned little small tasks. And then when I got to be a teenager, 13, 14, 15, then I started doing small jobs, and I would be assigned to work with the roofer one day, the drywall guy the next day, the plumber guy the next day. I would get assigned to do that. So I was basically a de facto apprentice for about 10, 11 years until I graduated high school. So I was in high school having VOTEC classes. I would take welding, spot welding, arc welding, other metal shop, foundry, and stuff like that. And then also I would be an unofficial apprentice under my dad, and I started at 7 years old. After that, I spent most of my time around my dad and his guys, and spent relatively little amount of time around my mom and my sisters. I had three,
Right.
and so I didn't spend a whole lot of time around them. So,
Hey, Obsidian, I know we're TikTok tight on our time, but can we get just one more question in?
yeah.
We get out of here. All right, little podcast Beans, welcome for the first time, brother.
What's up, bros? Can you hear me?
Yep. Comment, question, or smoke for the brother Obsidian.
It's really for kosher, but since Obsidian agreed, I want to know who are these guys that they're talking about who don't have the same savviness, who live at home with their moms in their 30s. Like what percentage of black men do you think that refers to?
Wow. I don't have any numbers on this, so this is just all my impressions. But based on what I'm seeing on social media and what I'm hearing, it suggests that it's a not insignificant number. What that number is, I honestly don't know.
Yeah, see, this is my problem with the manosphere, is that it seems to me the manosphere is all about hierarchy and pecking order and people punching down. I experienced this on so many channels, where we feel like for some reason that's necessary to separate ourselves, and at the same time we're saying it's the manosphere and we all need to be together. But if 35% of the U.S.'s working force are millennials, and we have to be talking about millennials because we're saying they're 30 years old still living with their mother, so that would make them millennials. But if 35% of the workforce is millennials, which is about 56 million according to my research, and there's 72 million millennials in the United States, but it seems like they're overrepresented in the workforce when they only making up 21% of the United States as a population, but they are representing 35% of the workforce. Seems to me like they outside getting it done. And maybe that's the message that we ought to be promoting instead of trying to make it seem like, oh, it's something wrong with all of our boys.
That's an interesting point. That's a fair point. TJ, I want to thank you, man, for having me on. I'm running on fumes here. I gotta get to bed. But I really appreciate you, brother. Y'all guys check me out over on Rumble. Just look for my name. You'll find me over there. I appreciate you. See you all at the Conclave in Houston, September 6th through the 8th. 2024, www.black-manosphere.org. Appreciate you, Kosher, and y'all be good, man. Thanks you so much.
All right. Thank you for Obsidian. Hold on, podcast. I want to talk to you. Thanks, Obsidian. I appreciate you. I'll be in touch, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Beans. Hey, Beans. When you say punching down, what do you mean by punching down?
I mean, like what we just experienced, right? We have a panel full of men. And, you know, it's final questions, this and that. And then all of a sudden it's like, yo, what do you think is wrong with these young men out here? What? That's what we want to talk about? Like, no.
Well, let me interject real quick, briefly. And I'm going to talk about what I've seen, what I've done. I worked in law enforcement. I've seen the pathology of a lot of young men now compared to the generation that I was from. So you use the euphemism punching down. I'm not trying to punch down. I've been advocating for boys and men my whole life. I worked in law enforcement. I taught school. It was all for the advocacy of black boys. But what's happened now, what I'm seeing is that there's a generation of overly emotional men. That generation that you're talking about, that are millennials, I worked with those boys in training school when I was in my 20s. Now those guys are in their 30s now. So I'm just going by what I've seen and how I've tried to advocate for a lot of them, but they just don't personify the tenacity that I saw in the past. And so my point succinctly is, not only as a licensed therapist, but also as a teacher and working in training schools and working in law enforcement, is that they don't seem to have that genation quality like the older generations had. Am I saying it's 100% exclusive? All of them, no. But they have been socialized different. And I'll say from a clinical perspective, a lot of it is introjection. A lot of it is over-identification with women because they don't have masculine men. They've never seen it. And then when they do try to get the tutelage from men, they project out of anger towards their fathers because they've never seen masculine men in unison. So that's what I say. That's why I say what I say.
Yeah, it's not that it's not like you're misrepresenting. I think when we say these things though, I think we have to put them in context, right? I try to hold everybody to that, but it seems like in this space we only want to hold women to that, right? When women come up and they over sensationalize things, we are quick to jump on them about it, right? But that percentage of guys that you're talking about right now is a small percentage, right? The overwhelming number of black men in this country, I could make an argument for 60% for sure because they have an income at least, are okay. Right now, if you want to talk about them from a psychological, emotional standpoint, yes, we can have a deeper conversation about that. Right. But at the same time, I think in this moment, I would have rather had a conversation about what's going on in this space. Right. And what's and like with the conclave thing that he was talking about. I looked it up real quick. Okay, something going on. Tickets, $300, all this and that. You know, that's fine, but I'm saying, what is it about? What are you actually doing? What do I get for that? What efforts are going to be made, you know what I'm saying, to make my life better or my son's better? How is it going to benefit me? Is it just networking? Because we can do that online. And that's what I'm saying. All this seems like a money grab. And instead of taking the time to express how it isn't and how we're actually going to benefit the people or, raise people up and all this and that, we want to talk about what the kids ain't or, what the women ain't and this and that. It's like, have a deeper conversation is my thing.
Well, listen, you're gonna always have a contrarian point of view. That's just part of the conversation. They're gonna always be contrarian views, pros and cons, yays and nays. I'll say from my perspective, when I went to the conclave last year, it was very powerful. As far as it being a money grab, I don't know all about that. I mean, hell, I won't get no money, so I don't know about all that. But I've more or less given my service to the conclave to more or less empower men and boys, but especially the black men to say, I got power. I need to utilize my power, and I don't need to be subjugated by a system that's gynocratic in order and a system that tried to minimize the efficacy of black men. The problem with black men now is that they don't have a voice. Anytime black men say something, people start damn pissing or they're trying to come up with conspiracy theories. Black men got to tap dance. I don't tap dance for nobody. I'm a man. I say what I want to say. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. I've always been that way. I worked in law enforcement. Like I say, I was the CO for 2 years with the Department of Corrections, 7 years with the Department of Juvenile Justice. And as I said earlier, I saw those black boys. And a lot of those boys, sadly, being they ain't doing a damn thing with their lives. They, for what I'm seeing, they're weak. They over-identify with women to the point that men can't say nothing. Anytime men say something contrary to the gynocratic order, it's a problem. Then the whole thing about the manosphere, I'm an adjacent, as I said earlier. There ain't no card-carrying membership where you can become manosphere. I was hustling and working for boys and men before the manosphere even existed. So I've always been coached. I've always been advocating. I've always been putting in work. And like I said, the last thing that I did, I got my master's from UNC Chapel Hill. I've been grinding there ever since. And so when I went, is for male advocacy, to say it succinctly. It's for me to unify and more or less network with other black men that are going through crisis, because consistent with Dr. William Glasser, Dr. William Glasser said that needs drive behaviors. The reason why the manosphere came into fruition, because men weren't getting their needs met. You would be surprised, Beans, what I see in couples counseling, where men know what I'm saying is right, but because they over-identify with female talking points, because they're wussies, they don't say anything. I'm from all the smoke, brother. I'm 6'5", 270 pounds. And like I said, I don't hate nobody, but if anybody get in my face, they can get this work. Like I told them, I'm a man before I'm a therapist first. And I've had people try to flag me, mess my channel up, and I am going to Rumble, and I'm coming up with some new concept in the future. But a lot of this beings is an ongoing attack on black male issues. Some of it is spiritual, consistent with theology. It's called the spirit of the Antichrist. It's trying to destroy anything associated with black men. And when you got other black men to speak out, because these boys, they're going through what I call arrested development. They are chronologically men, but they're going through a state of arrested development. Some of it being is that they have a hatred for their fathers. Man, I call it man. Man got a hatred for his father, because man had to be the man in his home. It's self-fulfilling prophecy, but not only that, beings, it's called spousification and adultification, where boys have taking on the roles of their mothers, and they over-identify with the mother's talking points, that when men do speak in unison, they got a problem with it, and they project out of anger because they're not seeing black men, used to seeing black men in power, and that black man reminds him of the father that he never had, number one, but also it reminds him of the father that his mother talked about, because man never identified with men. He's only identified with his mama, and that's why he struggles so much.
Yeah, I listen. I'm not saying that you're wrong, and I actually appreciate the fact that you're coming from a psychological place, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're
Right.
not
Yes,
the
sir.
person who's
Right.
just telling everybody to get to the bag, and that's
Yes,
the
sir.
solution
Right.
to everything, right?
Right. I agree.
But what I'm
Yes,
saying
sir.
is this, because and here's why: because right, this same system that we're operating in is this. The people pretend like we're not still under subjugation, but we are, right? So there are people who are in charge who have rule over us, right? The same way how this brother could lose his YouTube channel, right? He can't say what he wants to say, but other people can say what they want to say. So we're supposed to pretend now all of a sudden that that's applicable to YouTube, but not the real world, right? No, we're still under subjugation, right? We're still under rule. There's still oppression going on. Understand that this system that we are in is the exact perpetrator of that. So the more that we do to benefit the system, the more we help the system oppress us. It's a no-win situation, really. Right? The more money we generate, the more we benefit the system that is literally built to oppress us. Like there's no real win in this, right? And I'm saying, yes, we can't lay down, absolutely, but at least sometimes we need to have the deeper conversations, the more uncomfortable ones, right? The truths that we don't really want to say, the truths that we don't really want to hear, just so that these younger, because I'm gonna tell you something about a young person, because psychologically I'm probably still 17. I'm going through something right now that I shouldn't be going through at this age psychologically, right? And I've come to a point where I'm learning not to say too much on YouTube, because people don't really give a shit. They just gonna use it against you, right? They're not gonna empathize with you.
Yes,
but
right.
Something that happened to me growing up as a kid is now bothering me right now in my 40s.
Yes,
where I feel like I can't communicate with my mom about it.
Right.
Because when I go to her about it, she gonna want to talk about God. She gonna be dismissive and all this other stuff.
Right.
Instead of actually communicating with me, right?
Right.
So I know these men that I know these boys that you're talking about, and some of these men now that you're talking about, because I was one of them, right? And psychologically and emotionally, I still am there. But what I'm saying is the truth, right? That's the thing that really like put the fire under our loins, right? To make us say, well, if that's really what it is, then whatever, I'm running through this wall. You see what I'm saying? When I know you telling me the truth, I don't care if I don't like it. I respect it. Right? I absolutely 100% appreciate it. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that's what I'm saying, is that we just have to be willing to say it like that. Because when you're young, one thing about it, these young people, they can't, they can't express themselves as properly as you can, as fluently as you can, right? When I was in college, I saw some essays. People kind of write the way we talk on the street, right? But I was an excellent writer. So I had to understand why my professor would applaud them more often than me when I was the one getting all A's. Well, they needed it.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? And I didn't, right? So understanding that people can't always express themselves, it don't mean that they don't know it. And these young people know when they're being bullshitted. So I'm saying we just need to be committed to being honest with them and telling them what it is. Hey, look, I'm setting this up right here. And yeah, you got to pay me for doing that because blase Skippy and woo wop the bam. Give me the choice to say whether or not I want to deal with that. Versus leading me to believe it's something else, and then I invest my money in it and I walk away from it the same person I was when I went.
Right. Well,
hold on, Coach. I want to get Black America in here. Oh, I want to get Kofa, then Black America. But Beans, let me ask you a question. Maybe I'm just mishearing what you're saying. Do you believe that knowledge and experience is free?
Do I believe that? Well, as far as monetarily, absolutely. Yes.
So you think it's free? So those of us who didn't get what who didn't receive that in our development, do you think that we should be getting that for free now, or do we need to pay for it?
No, I think there are situations where you can purchase things if it's to your benefit, but I also think that altruism is necessary. right? Not everything needs to be done for money. That's the problem with this country now. We want to industrialize every single thing. We industrialize music. We industrialize the healthcare system. You know what I'm saying? Now we want to industrialize information. We're in a war. We're being oppressed. We got this fight going on, but let's make some money while we do it. After I just got through explaining how the more money you generate, the more you empower the very system that is oppressing you.
I think you're missing what CJ tried to say to you just
I'm
now.
not missing what he's saying. I understand exactly what he's saying.
No. Just listen for a minute. Because you reversed what he said. He wasn't talking about you making money. He was talking about you investing. That's what you just missed.
I didn't miss it. I understood exactly what he said because I specifically stated, if you were listening, that there are times that you will have to pay for information, especially when you know I'm going to go do this thing or get this thing or invest in this thing for yourself. Absolutely.
So my question to that would be, when are those times you won't have to pay?
My mouth is moving. But I'm speaking from the position of the person who has the information. And I'm saying altruism still has its place. Now, let me see if anybody's going to respond to that before you try to tell me what I'm missing. Am I wrong? Should we not be altruistic in our approaches in life?
Well, I think where he was trying to go was from an investment standpoint. That's why I see where
I'm asking you a question now. You see how you dodging it?
And I think
should we ever be altruistic in our approaches? Yes or no?
I think what you did was redirect what he was trying to drop on you. That's what I'm saying.
Let me say, I think I know what Beans is trying to say, and let me say this, and I got to move on. Listen, there's a time for all things. Is there a time for altruism? Yes, I've done it all the time. But see, here's the problem with that, Beans. When you got professional people that are licensed like myself, they don't have time for altruism because time is money and money is time. Am I saying that you can more or less... What I'm doing on YouTube is really altruism. I'm giving free advice for free. When I do my shows, it's free advice, but I have to more or less synchronize it and storytelling to convey a point to the masses, but also to convey a point to other brothers. So when I come on YouTube, I'm giving it for free. I'm giving guys nuggets and gems. Most therapists charge anywhere from $150 to $200 an hour. I'm doing it for free when I give it for free. But see, the problem being, what I've learned is that when you give people free stuff, they don't appreciate it. And so, you know, at this current crescendo in my life, I can't keep giving people stuff for free. They're gonna have to pay for my service. Everybody want help, but they won't help on their own terms. And so I can't do that. Like I said, I created almost 900 videos where I'm giving free game. If they haven't learned anything from that in the context of what I've given, then they're not ready for change. But once again, there is a time for all things. And yes, you can give your service for free to time. But however, people will never respect what I had to do. It took me 9 to 10 years to get all this education, brother. And and I'm not getting nowhere near what I'm worth, but I'm going to get it at some point. And so, like I said, you know, from doing YouTube, from talking with guys on the low from time to time, everybody wants your time for free, or they'll assume because you're a black man, you're supposed to do it. And I say, the hell with that. You're not going to get my time for free, because if you went to the white man, the white doctor, whoever, they're going to charge you. I don't care who it is. But for some reason, people think because you're black, you're supposed to tap dance and just be nice and all that. And like Tavis Mallett say, all skin folk ain't kin folk. And I learned that the hard way, trying to quote unquote help folks because they got black skin.
No, I absolutely appreciate that perspective, Coach. And I didn't even want to get caught up in whether or not something is free or not. I was just making the observation, right, that so often in this space, particularly when we're talking about the manosphere, that it seemed like everything is a money grab, right? Because we're not, because here's the thing, we cannot keep talking about all of these black people ain't this and black people ain't that while the manosphere exists. And what is it doing then? Right? It's either working, it's either benefiting people, it's either raising the folks up, or it's not. And if it's not, then we should be able to have a conversation about that. If it is, then let's stop speaking like black people are just so down and, you know, out of it.
All right, let me get Kofa in and then Black America, then we're gonna get up out of here.
Yeah, just real quick to Bean's point. I hear what he's saying, but I'm aligning more so with Kosha. The thing with the manosphere is, like you said, we can, you know, what's the purpose of the Manosphere Conclave, I think you asked. We can do that online. That's what we're doing here. But then we get pushback for doing it here. And it's like, oh, it's all about the women. It's all about these young men not doing things. I'm 42. It's my turn to pass the baton. We have already been through that fire. Shameless plug for TJ. We done already been through that fire as young men in our 20s and 30s. So when you see this group of older men that are talking like this is for a purpose. It's learned. Like I tell people on my channel all the time, my job is to get you smarter quicker, is to get you emotionally better quicker. We done been in love, had the heartbreak. Nobody ever wants to talk about it. This is where the manosphere, men-centric content space comes in when we're sharing this information about divorce. Because these brothers are coming from different places, like you said, here on the internet. TJ's laws about divorce and single fatherhood and things are going to be different in his state versus me sitting here in Atlanta. And the same thing with another brother. So a lot of it is just passing information. As far as the Black Manosphere Conclave, I see Brother Theo Waff in there. He's teaching hundreds. He's probably taught well over literally 1,000 men within the last few years how to navigate the cloud space as far as IT technology and things like that. I met brothers personally at the conclave last year that went from making $40,000 in 2022 to making $140,000 in 2023. Because they got out the emotion, they stopped worrying about the woman or what's going on with their kid and all. They let all that shit go and they focused on that IT serve and they got it and they started making change. And when we're speaking to as far as sharing information and getting money, that's the thing that's still held over our head as Black men in the culture. Just Black folks, period. I ain't worried about all of America. Black folks, period. The first thing a Black man hears is go get you some money. Or when it comes to our women, they chose the dope boy that had the most money at the time. And then when he fall off, he catch a bullet in his melon, or he catch 25 to life or whatever. They sit him down. Then they circle back to those same men that are here, air quotes, complaining online about women. But these are the brothers just putting in the work. Like TJ gave you his expertise. Kosher gave you his expertise. I've been in the Army 15 years. I know what it's like to work blue collar. I sat on the back of bank trucks for a couple of years, moving money around. AC don't work. I'm here in Georgia, hot as hell. Then the heat go out in the winter. I'm freezing back there in the back of that truck. So to your point, it's a lot of brothers that are working. The issue that we're speaking about in the manosphere, we are not getting the love and the respect of certain brothers in the community. They're exalted. I'm going to end my point with this. You got a group of brothers on the front of the house. The house is on fire. The house is going to represent the community. You got a group of brothers, the majority, like you said, are in the front of the house throwing water on the fire, trying to put the water out. There's a group of brothers on the back side of the house throwing gas on the fire. There's a group of women on the side of the house. They got a view of both men. It's so many of our sisters that are gravitating toward the guys that are throwing gas on the fire. And that's what we had. That's where we had the issue with, because the brothers eventually just throwing the water, they're going to get tired. Then they're going to start trailing off and like, man, this your bucket. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. So now it looks like a lot of us aren't doing anything, but we've already done the work. We rarely take that in consideration. What about the brothers that have already done the work? So when we're talking about the younger generation coming up behind us, I mentored for 6 years. I really worked with kids really since I was a kid. Did it for the YMCA through college, volunteer time at this organization, that organization, raise other people, kids, taught them to read, ride bikes, all that. I'm everybody daddy. I've been a single dad since I was 21. I got one older daughter. I have raised so many girls of my daughter's friends that still call me daddy to this day. But brothers like us typically don't get seen. And when we get tired and we have a certain context and we're looking at the young men coming behind us like, damn, I set the example. I talked to you. I gave you chapter and verse and you still in your mama house. That's a problem. And I know America's America. The economy is the economy. But it goes to the mental piece, the emotional piece that Kosher was speaking to. You got the money. You're doing the work, to what you said, Beans. And you're right. The majority of Black men are doing some type of work. So to still be laying up in your mom house, that's a failure to launch. And that tells me there's still a fear in a lot of Black men. And I don't want to skip over what you said, what you're dealing with now that you dealt with at 17 is just now coming to fruition for you. I'm going to just put this in your ear, having worked with younger men. Go seek the help that you need. Because contrary to popular belief, you may not get it from your mama. You're going to have to find those outside entities.
Right. Hey, Beans, come see me, man. You know, I'll give you I got some intel on my YouTube channel that you can look at. If you want to do a consultation, I'll work with you. I won't be your therapist or anything, but I can give you some free game, man. I work with a lot of brothers that's been through what you've been through, and so
I
We all
know.
should be
I know you
appreciative
want to
of
go
what
to
Beans just
Black
said.
America. Hold on 1 second. I know you want to go to Black America. Just
Yeah, I
one
want to go to
second.
Black America. Then I'll circle back to Beans. Black America, you there? Sorry, thank you for waiting.
Yes, yes. Good evening, gentlemen. Hello. I hope all is well. I want to say something to Beans. Beans know that he know who I am. You know I don't like you, Beans. I hate everything that Beans says. But Beans came up here and busted y'all asses wide open this evening. You guys, like I'm 50. I believe you're 52, right, Kosher?
yes, sir, I am.
Yeah. So us older guys, um, us older guys fucked up a lot. We did. We was the gangbangers. We was the drug dealers. Uh, we was the prison. We was the I got 3 baby mamas with 16 kids. That was us. These young dudes have dropped their rates of going to prison. Yes, they are not tough. Yes, they are pussies. Yes, they are sensitive. But these niggas are working, doing amazing jobs doing things. They're doing amazing. I hate their music. I hate the way they dress. They everything they do is fucking whack to me. I hate them.
Yeah.
But they are not out here. They are not out here busting people asses like we were when we were young, and they had to make actual laws against us to send us to prison for the rest of our lives when we was doing things, guys. These brothers are out here working, and nobody ever says anything to a Mexican. I'm in Vegas. I'm from LA. Nobody ever says anything to a Mexican who is 30 or 35 and he living in the house with his parents.
At all.
You see what I mean? Nobody ever says that y'all telling young brothers to get their ass out of their mama house and their daddy house because they making money and doing good. You shouldn't leave. I got a lot of kids. Okay. I got a whole lot of goddamn kids. And I've been making a whole lot of money for a long time. But bro, anytime one of my kids, I keep a big enough house in different places. Anytime one of my kids need to come back home, bro, if it's one of the boys, they know they got about 45 days. The girls got about 60 days. Because sometimes things happen. But we telling young men to go out here and get it. We telling young women to go out there and do it. Man, we fucked up.
Hey,
Kofa, go ahead.
No, Black America. No, I'm not sitting there disagreeing with your assessment at all. But the Hispanic family culture is very, very different. In the fact of the matter is, they believe in multi-generational homing inside the home. So it's very well that 35-year-old will actually have his wife in there with them too. That's not what we do. We do something very differently. And the fact of the matter is, most of their homes, it's always husband, wife's children. Even the
TJ, what part of the country did you grow up in?
I grew up in the Midwest. So husband, wife, children. I mean, I grew up across the street with a Hispanic family that lived directly across the street from me, and there were 3 generations of full families in that home. Now with us, and here's the thing: the way that they socialize their male children are very differently than how we socialize our male children. I have no problem with multi-generational levels of blacks living in the same house. My family has a family home. For the very purpose, if something goes wrong, somebody can come back for even, let's just say my dad is in his 60s, but let's just use his old butt for a reason. Let's just say something goes catastrophically wrong. He can move his wife into the family house until he's able to reset or restart or whatever the case may be. But the problem with with a lot of our younger men, and this is just indicative of the fact that they're like a lot of us are coming out of just 1-parent households. They never take the step out. No one says that you can't go out, fuck up, and not come back home to reset. I think that's going to happen by and large with a lot of us across cultures. You see it in white culture, see it in Hispanic culture. The kids go out, I mean, they leave from high school, they go to college, they start, something horrific happens, or loss of job, loss of income, or if they get married, it dissolves and they got to come home temporarily. The thing is, they actually take a time out of the house. Our kids are not leaving the house and not leaving the house until much, much later to even start the process of learning and failing. You have to fail in order to get better. They're not even getting to that point yet, a lot of them. Now, to Beans' point, do I think it's like, the majority of our young men? No, I don't think it's that. But it's enough. It's enough.
And so I'm going to disagree with you there. And I watch you a lot. I watch all you guys. You know what I mean? I even watch Beans' ass. I be crying when I watch him because the nigga is sensitive. But so my thing is, TJ, that's a lot. Nobody ever calls that Mexican family that you was living across the street from. Nobody ever calls them boys soft. They don't call them broke. They don't call them slow. All of us know that Roberto Duran was one of the baddest boxers. Ray Macho Camacho was. Nobody ever downgrades what the Mexicans do. So what it is it's us pushing ours out faster than what is actually needed. So they're not getting everything that they need. And then when the Mexicans jump out, when they jump off the porch, they jump out into a house with a truck sitting on 35-inch tires and all of that stuff, brother. I'm just saying, me included, we might have to start looking at things differently. We're older and stuck in. I know I'm not living to 100, so my life is more than halfway over. If you 40, you may live to 80, but most of us ain't living to 100. So what I'm saying is, we need to get out of the way. If you're 40, you still have a voice. If you 50, I mean, it's only our life experience that I could give to Kofa. Kofa 42, I can give my life experience to Kofa, and he can say, bet, I'll pass it on to the younger guys. But us older guys, we got to stop fucking talking to these young dudes because they hate us. They don't respect us. And it's only going to get worse. It's old lions, right? It's old lions trying to fight young lions. I'm telling you, we are fighting a losing battle against ourselves, and we blaming it all on these hoes. I feel bad for us as a collective because we don't have a collective. We are all individuals, bro.
Let me say this real quick, TJ.
Hold on, Beans, I'm gonna give you the final thought because I do got to get up out of here. But go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I don't want for anybody to think that I was trying to suggest that the conclave was a money grab. I was saying that when I looked at the website, that's what came to my mind. And that's based on my assessment of the space itself. You understand what I'm saying? So, and then as far as the other thing too, Coach, like I've been dealing with this for a long time, but that's what I'm saying. You look at how this brother, he keeps saying, I know him. I don't know who this guy is, right? But I'm saying, like, this is what the space really is. For every kosher clinician there is, even though that take he just gave, I agree with it 100%. But I'm saying the way that he was just attacking me, what I'm saying is that's the space, but it's like way worse than that, right? There is no real healthy communication. But as soon as somebody disagrees with you, as soon as you outwit somebody, you know what I'm saying? Then here comes the personal attacks and all this other stuff. That's really the space. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, but we want to invite people out and say, come spend your money and all of that. But we need to be trying to make sure that men are healthy. If we know that these people exist, right, then what are we doing to make sure that we're getting people on that level? And to that, I'll say shout out to Kofa, because he gave me a response, not that you didn't, Coach, but he gave me a response that I was actually looking for, right? When he's saying, this is what I did when I went to the conclave last year, and this is what we was able to do, and this is how we was able to help brothers. That's what we need to hear.
Right.
That's what we need to hear more of. This is what's going on. This is like, you know what I hate, TJ?
What's up?
I could be sitting on a panel with somebody, and let's just say it's coaching, not that you would coach, but let's just say it's coaching. And coach like, yeah, man, I know exactly how to get this done, and you know what I'm saying, get that done, and man, I'm just telling you, I know what to do. And then as soon as you contact them, yeah, man, what was that sea moss you said you was getting? Oh man, I can't even remember what brand it was. Where did you get it from? Man, I don't even remember where I got it from. My lady had grabbed it. You see what I'm saying? That's what really be going on. Niggas pretend like they got the answers, but then when you reach out to them, they don't actually have them, or they trying to charge you for them. You understand what I'm saying?
And what you do with those guys means
you got to do better than that. Is all I'm saying.
You shake the dust.
Can I say a couple things real quick?
Hold on. You shake the dust from your feet and you curb them. I mean, I've experienced that. You know what I mean? Look, I had people, because they knew Obsidian was coming up here. I had people, you know, because I wanted to do the Relentless series every month. I've had several guys tell me because I made Obsidian first that they would never work with me again. First of all, they said again like they've ever worked with me to begin with. And so it's a bunch of crazy. But I think when you're trying to build, rescue, and reshape something, there's a lot of clownery in a lot of our there's just a lot of clownery around, and it is taxing trying to weed through the muck, especially when some of them got large platforms, because we think that means something.
Yep.
We think that means something. V-Ben, I'm sorry. I do gotta go. Look, I want to thank you guys for coming up, having a conversation. I think this was a nice cap to, Obsidian's Relentless story. I really appreciate Obsidian coming up with my inexperience interviewing ass. I'm going to try to put him in contact with Hemp, because I think Hemp will do a better job. Now, see, that ain't no ego. That's just the truth. A lot of motherfuckers can't even do that. I mean, they just get all, I don't know. Guys, you guys want to hang back for a second in the back? That's cool. Let me get my outro out the way, and then we can chop it up in back. Beans, I got an idea I want to talk to you about, so hold on.